my mind was young,
Right.
so the things that I'm feeling and thinking are,
Yeah. Right.
they're
you,
right. So
you look at that like, if only that kid knew what he was getting into.
exactly, he's got a way with words, but he's got nothing to say.
Yeah. So okay, so then you're a poet, and
No, but I was thinking, well, that's super lonely.
yeah,
And prose, wow, that seems even more lonely because you really got to sit your ass down and work through that stuff. So I thought, okay, the only way that I can, be out in the world, which is what I was interested in being, was to write plays.
mm,
So I thought I'll go into the theater,
yeah,
I'll write plays, and then I thought, well, if I'm going to write plays, then I should probably learn something about acting. If I'm going to write words for actors to say, I should probably know something about what that is.
interesting. So you took a class.
Yeah, I did take a class. It was also the same time when I was told I needed to make like $3,000 to for the summer for my graduate life, my fancy graduate lifestyle.
Mm.
And buddy of mine who was an actor said, "Oh, you can make 3 grand doing a commercial." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And he said, "We got to meet my agent." I met the agent, and she said, "Yeah, I'll send you on commercial auditions, but if you want to go on TV, theatrical, and movie auditions, you'll have to get into class." And I was like, "All right, I'm not doing anything this summer."
I don't want to work on my dissertation.
Exactly.
So did you get a commercial?
I got a commercial the last day of summer.
Oh, so all that you put the whole summer work in, then you nailed it. What commercial? What was it for?
It was for Lowenbrow beer.
Was that what instilled a love for acting in you? Was the
Oh no, not at all. No. I remember I kind of choked on it
oh
too. I
yeah,
didn't have a good day. I didn't have a good day at work.
yeah,
I wasn't ready for that. The
yeah.
pressure of that.
And what did the class teach you? Was it a good class? Did you take it at Yale?
I didn't take it at Yale. No, no,
Mm.
no. I was kind of schizophrenic at that point because I was teaching. I also had to teach at Yale while I was a graduate student. So um, I would come into New York and go to class. I kept that going. I would ride my bicycle to the train station in New Haven, get my bike on the train, take it to Penn Station, ride around New York, get back on and go. It was cool graduate student kind of vibe. I found this amazing class. I say amazing because it was Strasberg technique, which is like known as the method, I guess people
Sure.
call it. And it was very, nothing to do with the words. My conception of what acting was when I first thought about it or began was like, oh, I got to figure out like smart ways to say these things.
Right.
But this was all about, what are you feeling and what's behind the words, and the words don't matter
Yeah.
at all.
Who taught it?
A woman named Marcia Haufrecht, she was wonderful. And these classes would just go on forever. We'd put on these scenes,
Yeah.
and Marcia would stop them in the middle, and she'd make you relax
Yeah.
and do like sense memory stuff.
Huh.
So you'd watch a scene that was a 5-minute scene, but it would be 2 hours watching these people struggle through the scene.
Yeah, I've been in those where there's a lot of crying involved. Yeah.
A lot of crying, a
Yeah.
lot of blaming of the father.
Yeah,
I saw
sure.
that, a lot of blaming of the father.
Yeah, that is the complaint of civilization at this point. Yeah, the patriarchy fucked it all up. It fucked it all up.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
Dad's fault since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a poem I'm working on. So apparently that class, but it sunk in. You got it. You understand what makes acting, and did you write the plays once you kind of got a
I
sense?
wrote one play. I've written, screenplays, teleplays, things like that since, but I just wrote one play while I was at Yale. I did, and never put it on, and it's not good.
No.
And I'll say this, coming from my background in literature and in like the halls of literary criticism, academe, these kinds of things. I was not, I didn't read for plot, but movies and stories that we film are plot,
Yeah.
plot. I had a disdain for plot. I was like, when I'm going to talk about a book, I'm not going to talk about what happens.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to talk about?
I'm
Magic?
going to talk about, yeah. I'm going to talk about, the structural aspect of it. I'm going to talk about the political aspect of it.
Right. The meaning.
Or the meaning that the author didn't even know.
Right.
And that's where we were at Yale at that point, blindness and insight. You write around exactly what you're blind to. And the critic who's empowered now to find out through your blindness to your own stuff, what exactly you were actually trying to say.
So is this Bloom's influence?
Oh, that's not Bloom. That's Paul DeMann and people that came after him. Bloom was much more of a humanist.
So who are these guys, these other guys? Paul DeMann, I don't know him.
What's his name? Not Diderot. Well, people like Lacan, Foucault, going back to Nietzsche.
Yeah.
Were
you going to think? Were you thinking Derrida?
Yes, I was thinking Derrida. Thank you.
Boom.
It's fun to say, isn't it? It's a good word to say.
Good word to say. I have no idea what it means.
Just drop it.
Yeah.
Derrida. So I'll say this.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say was like becoming an actor, especially getting the X-Files, which, it's an action show. It's a plot show. That really, I needed to be exposed to that as a writer, actually. And as an actor, I needed to see that what happens is what draws people in.
It's great because you got to see it 210 times. And a couple of movies worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of plot for you to understand.
Yep.
But that wasn't the first role, though. I mean, you kind of kicked around a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah. I was on Twin Peaks. I did a movie called The Rapture with Michael Tolkin.
I was going to talk to you about that because I love that fucking movie. I like Michael Tolkin movies a lot, and I miss him. I haven't seen a Michael Tolkin movie in a long time.
Michael wrote the miniseries that Ben Stiller did last year.
That's right. That was great. Yeah, the one with Benicio and the Arquette. I'm at that age where I'm like, I know it's an Arquette. And I know I've interviewed her.
But Michael's a great writer. He wrote the Player.
I know the Player. I love that. But that Rapture with what's that guy's name? The blonde guy who played the sheriff or the cop in that movie.
Yeah, Will
Patton.
Will Patton. See, together we can get there.
Yeah.
You and me.
Yeah, I always liked that guy too. But that was an intense movie because it dealt with such a big idea. It literally dealt with the rapture. The Christian rapture. And it's such a small movie. And you're really talking about the end of the world. And the end of that movie where it's just that sound and you've got to buy it. The poetry of the thing was it worked. I loved that movie. It had an impact on me.
Well, me too. When I was finished with this book, Truly Like Lightning, I realized that I had been influenced by the rapture long, long ago because I was dealing with similar themes in this. And I actually called Michael up, or I emailed him, and I said, hey, I just finished this novel. Would you care to read it? I really think that the rapture kind of marinated in me all these years. And when I was writing it, I had not even one conscious thought about the rapture. But I realize now. And I sent it to Michael, and he actually blurbed it for me. He's written a nice blurb for me on the book. Yeah.
How's he holding up? He must be an older guy now.
Yeah, he's good. I think he's good. I haven't seen him, but his emails are sharp.
That's good. And then, right. So Twin Peaks, you did a few episodes of that.
I did a movie called Ruby, which was about Jack Ruby.
Movie.
I played J.D. Tippett, the officer who Oswald shot, or who was shot in Dallas the same day as Kennedy was shot.
See, that would have been the perfect moment to, from the recognition from that, you should have, put up your dad's play.
Now you sound like him. My dad said to me once, and he said, you were talking about dads before, and, the fucking patriarchy and all that. But he said, I'm giving you the greatest gift a father could ever give his son. I'm not very successful.
You can win.
Yeah.
That's true. There's a wisdom to that, right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to fight that fight.
No, I don't think I ever did.
Well, I mean, it seems like, from the way you talk about him, specifically the fact that he was, outside of not understanding his work, you understood that he was a creative guy and a funny guy and a guy that had a political point of view and, something to say and some balls, and those are all the good things. Not like, we could have, been a schmata hustler and made $1 billion selling garbage clothing. You got lucky.
Yeah, I also knew that he was frustrated. I also knew that he considered himself a novelist, and he he did publish his first novel when he was 73, 2 years before he died. So I published my first novel when I was 55. So I guess I did win, at least the chronological race, but we're both late, and we both kind of ran from, well, I don't think he ran from it. I think he had to he had to support a family, and
right. But it sounds like he got a lot done. So you got a good work ethic and a good
well, that's from my mom. That's from my mom. My
Yeah.
mom is oof.
She's still around?
Yeah, she's 90. She'll be 91 in a couple days.
And she's together?
Yeah, let's see.
Good. So now I have to, so you get the X-Files. I mean, you had no idea that would be your life for a decade, did you?
Oh, hell no. I mean, I thought it came my way, and at that point, I shared the prejudice against television actors that was current during that time.
Uh-huh.
It was before the so-called golden age of television, where we realized that actors are actors and they can exist in any medium. But then it was like, oh, if you're a TV actor, you're a shitty actor,
right?
And I mean, partly it was X-Files, ER, these shows that were, or NYPD Blue especially, shows that were very well acted, But that was before that,
right?
And I thought, but I needed money. And I thought it was a really cool pilot. And I thought, there's no way. And I wasn't interested in aliens. And I just thought, there's no way.
How can this go on for very long?
Right. I thought, okay, maybe we'll do 6. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll do a season. But there's no way. I'm really good at that stuff. I should run a studio. I really have a good mind for seeing what's going to hit.
And it's so funny because it's like not just the acting thing. You stepped into a thing where it's like, it's not about TV acting or not TV acting. It's that you stepped into a world that is going to have an eternal well of weird cult attention.
Yeah.
Like you know, it's almost like being on Star Trek. I mean, for the rest of your life, you're going to deal with guys coming up to you going like, hey, in that episode where
it's the obituary line, and I mean, I make peace with that. Because I struggled with that for a while, but then I realized there's no way to outrun it because it is one of the biggest shows of all time. So you're not going to make a bigger show. So I'm just feel lucky to have been on that show, and then at first it was like, okay, I've got to compete with that. I've got to somehow erase it,
Oh, so you were conscious of that. You were like, after 200 episodes, but you have a good relationship with the fans.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But at the time, maybe I didn't. At the time, I was like, don't typecast me. I can do other things. And then I went, and then when I got off the show, I was, I wanted to do movies, and I did a few. But I really wanted to do comedy, and I wasn't getting those roles in movies. And that's when Californication came my way. And then I'd never thought about doing another TV show because the season of an X-Files was so onerous and debilitating. 25 one-hour episodes running around in the cold at night. And I was just like, no, never again. I can't do that again. And then cable came around. I was like, 8 episodes. Then I was just like, wow.
Yeah, why not?
You can do this. And then Californication was really like adult comedy, the kind of comedy that I wanted to do. It reminded me of like movies from the 70s.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. In a way, that was like me pushing against, Mulder was sexless.
Yeah.
Mulder never had a woman,
right?
And it was comedy, which I really, I liked the challenge of that.
What was your relationship with Shandling? I mean, were you guys friends?
Yeah. We were just very, very good friends.
Because I love those episodes with him. And, I was, I went to that memorial service. I interviewed him here, and he was like such a amazing.
Yeah, he loved you. He told me about you years and years ago.
Oh, that's nice.
He told me about your, did you start with a radio show or did you start with a podcast? I don't know.
I had a radio show many years ago on Air America, and then
I think he knew you from that.
Yeah, and then we did a podcast together, and we had a nice time. And he was a special person. He was special to me.
I miss him daily. It's weird to say, but one year when I was finishing up the X-Files, like the third year,